She was going to change the world. That was what everyone believed. Silicon Valley believed it. Wall Street believed it. The United States government believed it. Patients believed it. By the time anyone figured out the truth, Elizabeth Holmes had raised $900 million, built a company valued at $9 billion, and subjected hundreds of thousands of patients to dangerously inaccurate medical test results. This is the story of Theranos, the most brazen fraud in Silicon Valley history. Elizabeth Holmes dropped out of Stanford University in 2003 at the age of 19. She had one idea: a device that could run hundreds of medical tests from a single drop of blood, making testing cheaper, faster, and accessible to everyone. It was a compelling vision. Medical testing was expensive and inconvenient. If someone could democratize it, they would save lives and make billions. Holmes convinced investors the technology was real. She convinced them with her voice, her wardrobe, her unnaturally deep-speaking voice, and her unwavering confidence. She wore black turtlenecks like Steve Jobs. She spoke about disrupting healthcare the way Jobs had disrupted computing. Board members who should have known better were dazzled. George Shultz, former Secretary of State, joined the board. James Mattis, former Marine General, joined the board. Henry Kissinger joined the board. These were serious men with serious reputations, and they all believed her. The money poured in. Rupert Murdoch invested $125 million. The Walton family invested. By 2014, Holmes was on the cover of Fortune magazine. Forbes named her the youngest self-made female billionaire in American history, with a net worth of $4.5 billion. Theranos had partnered with Walgreens and Safeway to put its testing centers in stores across America. Patients were walking in and getting blood drawn, trusting that the results were accurate. They were not. The Edison device, as Theranos called its testing machine, simply did not work as advertised. It could not run hundreds of tests from a single drop of blood. The machine was unreliable, producing wildly inconsistent results. Internally, Theranos employees knew this. Scientists who raised concerns were fired or intimidated. The company was running most of its tests on conventional machines made by other companies, diluting blood samples to make the tiny amounts work. Doctors were receiving test results that told patients they had HIV when they did not, or that cancer markers were elevated when they were normal. Lives were being put at risk. The fraud unraveled because of one journalist. John Carreyrou of the Wall Street Journal began investigating Theranos in 2015 after being tipped off by a source. Holmes tried to stop him. Theranos lawyers sent threatening letters. Holmes personally called Rupert Murdoch, who owned the Wall Street Journal, and asked him to kill the story. Murdoch, to his credit, refused to interfere. In October 2015, Carreyrou published his first story exposing Theranos. Holmes went on television and called the story categorically false and inaccurate. She was lying. The Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services investigated Theranos laboratories and found deficiencies so serious they threatened patient health and safety. In 2016, federal regulators banned Holmes from operating labs for 2 years and revoked the certification of Theranos California lab. Walgreens and Safeway terminated their partnerships. The $9 billion valuation evaporated. In June 2018, Holmes and her former president and boyfriend Ramesh Sunny Balwani were indicted on federal charges of wire fraud and conspiracy to commit wire fraud. Holmes was charged with defrauding investors out of hundreds of millions of dollars and defrauding patients who relied on Theranos test results for medical decisions. Holmes and Balwani were tried separately. Holmes went on trial in August 2021. Her defense was extraordinary. She claimed that Balwani had psychologically abused her and that she genuinely believed the technology worked. On January 3, 2022, the jury convicted Holmes on 4 counts of fraud and conspiracy. On November 18, 2022, Judge Edward Davila sentenced Elizabeth Holmes to 11 years and 3 months in federal prison. Balwani was convicted on all 12 counts and sentenced to nearly 13 years. Holmes reported to prison in May 2023. The Theranos story raises uncomfortable questions about how Silicon Valley operates. The culture of fake it till you make it, of disruption at all costs, of charismatic founders given the benefit of the doubt long after warning signs appear. All of this created the conditions for Holmes to operate for years without accountability. Hundreds of thousands of patients received inaccurate medical test results from a machine that did not work. Elizabeth Holmes told everyone she was going to change the world. She did change it, just not in the way she promised.